You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Well, hello, everyone. Hello. This is Pastor Shirley Hood, and we are on a new episode of Reflections TV. Listen, y'all, I know it's been a minute. It has certainly been a minute that I have not been on air. However, I'm so excited today. Why? Because I have a special guest. That's right. A special guest that we're going to be introducing, who is going to come on and share what she does with this fine work for mothers. Yes, mothers to be. But before we get into all of that, I just want to say thank you all for tuning in once again to Reflections TV. You know that we've been on air for 10 years. That's right, 10 whole years. And we're still bringing great TV programming. Listen, we are all about reaching out. Why? Because it is all about you. And it is so important to us that you receive all the information that we are providing, because we find that you are important. So the reason why that I wanted to come on and share with you all first about what is happening. Yes, what is happening in the next couple of months. Let me just tell you, y'all, we are about to be on the move. That's right. We're gearing up for our Peace, Love, Judah Jam Festival. That's right. Our Peace, Love, Judah Jam Festival is going to be held Saturday, September 14, 2024. From the hours of 12 to 5 p.m. Listen, we're going to have a host of things that is going on, and we're bringing awareness to family and wellness. That's right, bringing everyone together. Now, you know that this festival is going to be grand. Why? Because we're going to have free food, hamburgers, hot dogs, drinks, you name it. Prizes for the adults and the children. We're going to have a host of speakers from different agencies. We're even going to have our political leaders. Guess what? We're going to be there with music, entertainment. It's going to be a family fun day, and we want you to be there. However, before the actual festival comes into fruition, we're going to be having a grand services. What is those two grand services? Well, we're going to have two platform services. That's right. It's going to be held August 9th and August 10th. Well, August 9th, which is on a Friday evening at 7 p.m., we're going to have a women's platform service. That's right, a women's platform service. This is going to go towards the Peace, Love, Judah Jam Festival, where we're raising funds to bring a festival like this to fruition. And then on August the 10th is a Saturday evening at 5 p.m., where we're going to have all the men who's going to come and speak to us. That's right. It's going to be a great platform service both evenings, and we need you to support this great cause. Yes, right. And this great cause is going towards the Peace, Love, Judah Jam Festival that is sponsored by Trinity Tabernacle Church, Tri-Christ Multicultural Outreach Ministries. Well, you know that this past March, y'all, I just had my book signing. That's right. My book signing went off with a hitch. Let me tell you, it went so well that I completely sold out. Yes, completely sold out. And I'm so excited what God has done with this book signing. And I'm so delighted that it's even still going on. And folks are talking about it. I have one call me and say, hey, this book was so awesome. And I'm just so glad that everyone came out for this grand event and supported me with this book signing. And also they are just still talking about the event that has occurred. The book that I have written is called The Covenant of God's Love. That's right, The Covenant of God's Love. I also not only wrote the original book, but I wrote the workbook of God's covenant of love. And listen, you know, it's all about knowing your God and who he is in your life. So I thank God just for having the opportunity, you know, to write something of this magnitude, and that everyone is being benefited and blessed. So tune in, y'all, because, you know, we're about to, you know, be on the rise, you know, for another book that I had just written, and we're just going to be releasing it sometime soon. And I'm so excited of what God is doing, you know, especially what he's doing in the community. Yes, he's doing so many great things in the community. And, you know, we could not do this work without you. And we definitely appreciate the support that you have given us over the years. We need your help with everything that we are doing in this ministry, because we're all about outreaching, helping those who are in need. This is what we are all about. Our whole endeavor is to reach those who needs to be reached. And so that is all the announcements I have for you on today. Like I said, I'm so excited for my special guest. Listen, she is from a great agency, a great program that helps mothers to be who are expecting children. And we're going to sit and we're going to talk about all about how they are impacting the lives of so many families. So I need you to stay tuned, and I will be right back to introduce my next speaker. God bless. Welcome back, everyone. Listen, I am so excited to introduce my next guest. Listen, I had the pleasure of introducing myself to my guests at the Juneteenth event. It was an honor and a privilege to know her and to find out the work that she does and does so well. I even know her executive director. I had a chance to meet her some time ago before. But having to meet my next guest, who is going to stand in the gap for the executive director of this great center, I have to formally introduce her. And I'm glad that she came today to say yes to being on my show. So let me do this formal introduction of my next guest. My next guest is a program manager, I should say, at a perinatal center in Pawtucket, Rhode Island. They provide education and services for expectant mothers. Not only do they provide exceptional care, but they also support mothers who experience inequities and disparities. I want everyone to please welcome my Urban Perinatal Education Center guest, Programs Manager, Keesler C. Keesler, it is such a pleasure to have you on my show today.
Thank you for having me.
You know, it's a wonderful thing to see someone like you in the community helping so many mothers to be who is about to give birth to this little angel that comes into the world. And sometimes it's a scary place for them to be in. And just because they are in that place, at least there is a place they can go to find the help and the support that that your center brings. And I'm just so glad. I always wanted to have the opportunity to sit with you all and just get a feel of the work that you all do over there. And which is why I wanted not only to have Katia on, but she sends you because you do the work as well as she does. And so I'm just really excited to have you on, and we're going to talk about what the Urban Perinatal, if I'm saying this right?
Urban Perinatal Education Center.
That's right. What they do and what you guys do so well. So let's just get right into it. So I see that the center has been open for 2 years, and you work closely with Katia, who is the executive director of the center.
Yes, ma'am.
And so how has that experience been like working with her, who was always thinking about bringing an impact to the community? What is that like for you?
It's amazing. She has been doing this work since 2015 when she first became a doula. And UPEC has been her baby that she's been thinking about for a couple of years now. So it finally came into fruition July 25th, 2022 is when we had our ribbon cutting. So
wow.
Yes, ma'am.
That's so awesome. And like I said, I had a pleasure meeting her when I was working for Mount Hope Community Center, and she was just passing through, and I had a chance to meet her for a quick bit. But just to see us Black women are doing it and making headways to be a help and support to so many mothers and families that need the help and support, which is what I really want to get into, because according to your website, I came across studies indicating that Black patients receive better treatment from Black doctors. Now, I need you to explain to me the reasons behind the health disparities in our Black community.
So I feel like when we go into medical facilities, there might be certain things that we're going through that maybe providers that don't look like us can't really relate to. And so when we explain things to them, they might not be able to empathize or relate to what's going on. And so we're not listened to a lot of the times. And there's still medical providers who believe that Black and brown folks don't feel pain the same way as our white counterparts do. And so we are also seen as drug seeking sometimes when we go in and we tell them that we're experiencing pain. So there's that part too.
Yeah, and it's so funny you say that, because that was one experience that I've had experienced. And I've been going to the specialist for so long, and I felt like it was almost at that period where my voice wasn't heard. Like and as a woman, I know what my body is telling me, right? Yes, we know what our body's telling us, and
you are the expert of your own body, right?
Right,
yeah.
And so when we're not getting the proper response, we tend to doubt who we seeing on a year-to-year or monthly basis, depending on the treatment that we need. But we kind of lose that trust in our doctors, right? And so, but I really find it very interesting. I remember going to seeing a doctor some time ago, maybe a few years back, and I don't know why I was so struck. I was totally struck because I walked in, and I believe she was like a specialist, and I walked in, and I remember her walking through the door, and she looked just like me. And I'm going, oh my God. Like I was so, and I don't know why that just really did something for me, but it made me feel like she paid attention to my needs, to my body. and it was so relatable. Why do you think that is so relatable to patients, Black doctors and their patients? Why do you think that is so relatable?
Most Black and brown doctors have, or they share the same lived experiences as we do, and they move throughout the world the same as we do, and so they know how it feels for someone not to hear them when they're experiencing things too, and so they are more apt to listen to us or sympathize with us, or oh yeah, maybe my family member went through the same thing you're going through, and so I know how to relate to you or converse with you, or things like that.
Yeah, and it's it's all about taking the time to knowing what really, let me say this, it's really about listening to your patients, right, and understanding and meeting their need, because all we want is to be heard.
Right.
All we want is to be heard. And if I'm looking at a Black or brown doctor and she or he is telling me, listen, I hear you, I understand you, it is just not because of their specialty, because they not, and it's not, and I don't know if I want to say this correctly, it's not just because of the color of the skin, but because they can sympathize with me.
Right.
And because they can relate to what I'm going through. And I think that is a lot that has gone wrong in the medical field. And I think that if we're not so careful, we're gonna find a lot of these patients not only getting the wrong advice, not only getting the wrong help, but they're just gonna say, you know what, I don't even trust doctors anymore.
Right. Yeah. Because when the providers come in and they look like us, they can see their family member in us, right? So if it's an older woman, maybe the provider sees their mom or their aunt or their grandmother, and they tend to treat you as if you were their family and how they would want their family member to be treated, right? Yeah.
And I saw something weird. This was like a long time ago. There was this Black doctor was seeing this patient for so many years, and the parent brought in their daughter, and it was as if it was a generational kind of thing that is happening, and and it's just so wonderful for that to occur, because now you don't have to look elsewhere when the family has that one main doctor that they can go to for that help that they need. And I think that is so vital in our Black community, because then they would say, oh, I'm going to go see my doctor today, because my doctor will understand me. My doctor knows what I'm feeling. My doctor knows where they're going to direct me or who they can direct me to. And it's very important that we should be self-assured that when we go to our doctor is going to help us.
Right.
And that's a meaningful thing. So, I'm glad that your agency recognizes that, and I'm pretty sure that you might have heard it from some of the patients. Would you agree?
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So I just want to know, like, what role does your center play in supporting those who lack access to health care?
So UPEC is the type of environment where as soon as you walk in the door, you feel welcome. There's just a vibe about it.
Yeah.
So you come in and we're introducing ourselves, and we offer, would you like a drink? Would you like some water, some tea? Here's our lobby area. You can get yourself comfortable, and they just feel welcomed. So then they're a little anxious when they come in and kind of not sure what to expect. And the classes are supposed to be 2 hours each, but sometimes they come in and it goes, half hour, 45 minutes, an hour over, because we're so into the topic that we're talking about, and they ask all the questions, and we're just not keeping track of the time. It's just,
So what brings them to that? Because you said they walk in and they're anxious, because every expectant mother, they don't know, right? They don't know what they're going to walk into, right? They don't know anything about motherhood. I know when I had my firstborn, I didn't have a clue, even though I had my mom, but I still didn't know. I'm like, oh my God, is there such a book on having a child, right? But they come in and they feel so overwhelmed. But what is it that you guys provide to them, or how do you bring calm to them when they come in that door? What is the thing that you may say to them that make them feel as though they are at home?
I feel like it's the kindred spirit that we present. So when they walk into a medical organization, it's more like, people are standoffish sometimes, they have like the white coat syndrome, right? They think maybe they're superior to the patients, or that's the vibe that they give off. And so they come in and we're, hey, how you doing? How was your day? Did you eat? Did you drink your water? Why you don't have your feet up? How come you not feeding my baby? You know what I mean? So that's the type of vibe that we give them. And so they feel like they're visiting an aunt or a cousin or something. And so then they come in, and especially if they're a first-time parent, there's not much that they know about it, right? And we start going through the information, and myself, I can talk about birth all day. So there's a lot of added information that I share with them as we're going through the book. And so I give them like the real, right? So you're looking through the book, you get the information, but also you get my lived experience from what I've seen as I'm helping my clients, because I'm also a doula. So I just had a doula baby on July 4th. And so I shared some of that experience with the last couple that I was in class with, and they appreciate the added information, We prepare them for what to expect throughout the pregnancy, and what to expect with breastfeeding, and what to expect when you're going into the hospital, and how you can tell if it's real labor or false labor, you know what I mean? So the information that most people lack, or that most people leave out, right? And then after they have their baby, they're wondering, how come nobody told me this? We never want them to leave out our organization feeling like, how come nobody told me? Because we tell them all the things.
And that is so important, because after that delivery, a lot of parents have questions. A lot of questions.
Right.
I know as a mom of two, I had a lot of questions, even with the second. Even though I had raised my first, but even with the second, I had a lot of questions, because you want to be able to you're this mom, especially a new mom, and you want to make sure that, you're doing everything right. We don't want to mess up or anything. We just want to be that nurturer for our children. And so it's so important that, they could be able to walk into your center and feel a sense of calm, feel a sense of connection, that cultural competency, that's the thing, right? And feeling that they are connected and somebody is abiding with them and understanding them. And then by you sharing what you already do as a doula, that says a lot. So speaking as a doula, tell the audience, what is that role, and how can a parent decide, like, what is it that they decide to do? They come in deciding that they want to have a doula. What is that experience like?
So we have the doula referral hotline. So they can call that, or they can go on our website, urbanperinatal.org, and they can fill out the doula referral request form. And then we try to match them up as closely with the doula as possible. So we take in consideration their insurance. We ask a bunch of questions about the characteristics that they would be seeking if they do get a doula. So according to those characteristics, and also their due date. So we take all of those things into consideration and try to match them as close as possible to a doula. Some people come in and they don't know what a doula is, so we have to explain that to them. So what a doula is we are a birthing partner, right? So they have their partners, but we provide support for not just the birthing person, the whole family, okay? And so we provide emotional, physical, and informational support to the birthing person, their partner, sister, mom, whoever wants to learn that information, whoever is going to be taking care of that person in the birthing and postpartum period. We like to share that information with everybody, okay? So we go over relaxation techniques, comfort measures, different birthing positions. If they choose to have medical pain relief, we discuss those things with them, the benefits and the risks of all of those things. So we go over a lot.
So after the birth of their child, do you continue the services? Do they still stay connected to your agency? Do they still stay connected with y'all?
We try. We try to. So we have our community health worker intern now that is working with us, Miss Misty. So she's at the front desk and she does follow up now. So she calls the people that have come to the classes who have already delivered their babies, and she does a follow up. Hey, how are you doing? Are you and baby okay? How was your services with your doula? Did everything go well? Were you satisfied? And so we take that from there. Also with the doula services, families get 3 prenatal visits where we go out to their home or wherever they feel comfortable meeting us. We share all of those things that I discussed earlier. And then when their labor starts, they call their doula. The doula will be with them throughout their labor process. Some doulas go there at when they get admitted into the hospital and they stay until after the baby is delivered. Some doulas do like a virtual, like they text message and video chat, and then they join the birthing person when they get to the labor delivery unit, so when they're about ready to deliver. And most doulas stay about an hour, 2 hours after, make sure mom and baby are doing good, everybody's settled in. And then after discharge of the hospital, they get 3 postpartum visits at their home, where we just go check in, make sure the family's doing well, they're settled in. If, you know, God forbid there's a postpartum depression issue, we can refer. We can watch the baby for a little bit so mom and, you know, her partner can take a nap or, you know, take a shower or eat or something, you know what I mean?
That is so great.
Because with little people, they demand a lot of attention, and so sometimes we forget to eat and hydrate and sleep and shower. So
and it's overwhelming too,
right?
Because you know, I think after that birth, not only you are exhausted, and all you want to do is just eat a little bit and then go right to sleep, right? And you're hoping that someone is in the room while you take a nap, right? Because you don't know what's happening after that. All you did was, remember, you gave birth, and now you just want to sleep. So that is good. That is really good. Now, is there, do you guys perform home births? Do you do that too?
We do not. Home births are, they're not covered by insurance in Rhode Island, so they're an out-of-pocket expense, right? I believe it's about $6,000 out of pocket. Right now, we are doing the, I don't know if you get the paper that, this one, the certified perinatal doula. We're trying to build up the home birth midwifery workforce here in Rhode Island. So that's Miss Q's next project. So we're doing that. We have 3 home birth midwives currently in Rhode Island. But there has been an increase in people wanting to do home births, and so the supply is not meeting the demand right now. You know what I mean? So we got to get some people to catch these babies out here.
Yes, absolutely. And I just see, the work that she's putting into, making this a priority in our Black community. I see that aside from a doula, you also teach childbirth education.
Yes, ma'am.
What is that experience like when teaching expectant mothers about childbirth? What's that like?
It is so much fun. I, for one, I don't feel very comfortable talking to large crowds of people or strangers, but but I've had to force myself out of my comfort zone for my job. So I love teaching. I didn't think I would, but I do.
Wow.
And so they come in, and with my doula clients, I know that I'm going to get the 3 prenatals, right? And I claim my doula clients, and so their family after that. But for the people that come in for classes, we have the 5 classes, and I want to give them all the information about everything, right? So I feel myself, going off on tangents sometimes. But yeah, so we have the pregnancy class, we have birth, we have postpartum, newborn care, and breastfeeding.
Wow.
Yeah. We also have understanding NICU as well. We have all of those classes in English and Spanish. We don't have the NICU class in Spanish, but the other 5 classes we do have in Spanish.
Yeah. So tell me what's that like about the NICU, because the reason I'm raising a flag about that is because my firstborn was in the NICU for like a month and a half, and it's very emotional at that time.
It is
for a mother to go through that, because from what I experienced is seeing my child after waking up after 2 days, because I was so heavily medicated, that he was hooked up on
all the tubes
and everything, and it's so overwhelming to see that for a mother.
It is.
And then I had the privilege to stay at the Ronald McDonald House while my son was fighting for his life.
Right.
So what is that type of scenario like? What do you provide? What information you provide to a mother who may be or may experience that type of effect that's going to happen?
So the Understanding NICU class is, it's a 2-hour class as well. And we go over the curriculum that prepares them for the shock of what the baby may look like. You know what I mean? When they see them in the machines and hooked up to all the tubes and stuff. NICU babies develop at a different rate than full-term babies do. And so their milestones will be, further behind than their typical age would be. So we prepare parents for that as well. There's some times where NICU babies, the earlier they are born, like they don't have the sucking reflex to breastfeed, and they're 2 weeks to do that. So we prepare families for that as well. NICU families are like a whole nother breed. Like they, I feel like they bond together in that experience. So if we can find, NICU families who are due around the same time and, hook them up together so that they have sort of a community going on and they don't feel alone, that's a good experience. So for our NICU course, we either provide that for families who already know that they're going to be, scheduled for an early C-section or something like that, or families who are trying to be proactive to get that information just in case something happens, so they know already what to expect.
Yeah, and it's so good to know this, because it's really hard for a mother. I know it was very hard for me. I felt, even though my mother was around at the time, but I felt like I was still alone in the process, because I felt like, why my child? Like, so all, you have all these emotions going on, right? Going through your brain, like, why did this happen to me? This is not fair. Everybody else is having their babies. And then when you go visit the hospitals, I remember there was a time before I would go and visit my son, I would just be walking around the hospital, looking at the mothers holding their children, and I'm like, this is not fair. So I could imagine what that experience is like, because I've been there, and preparing for the worst, right? Because it's almost as if it's the worst for a parent, because you don't know what you're going to deal with, right? And so I think that is so vital to have those type of classes for that expectant mother, because you just don't know what they're going to encounter. I'm glad that you guys are doing that over there, and and I'm excited of what UPEC is doing, you know, and I see that you had, I think you kind of mentioned about the five learning topics, and you would share with them, with us again what those are.
So we have pregnancy, so that goes through the 3 trimesters, signs and symptoms, what is typical, what isn't, questions to ask the provider, different tests that you're going to be going through when you go to different appointments. So we explain that and what to expect and why they're being done and all those things. So that's what the pregnancy class is about. So then we have the birth class that takes you from 3rd trimester to postpartum. So it goes through all delivery and all those things. Comfort measures, relaxation techniques, what your body is, what's happening to your body when labor starts, right? The difference between Braxton Hicks and actual labor, those things. And then we have the newborn care, so that is fresh from newborn until about 6 weeks. Different behaviors to expect from the baby, why are they crying, how to change their diaper, how to bathe them, things like that, especially for the new parents, right?
Yes.
We have the breastfeeding, and so that is what your body is going through, how often to feed the baby, what a newborn baby's poop looks like, right? And how many diapers you can expect to change, and what do I do? You know, why would I call the provider, and what type of emergencies, and so those things right there for the breastfeeding and the newborn, actually. We have, what else? The pregnancy, birth, postpartum, right? So that one, we go through different signs and symptoms of postpartum mood anxiety disorders, what to look for. Like, so the baby blues is like 4 weeks after you deliver your baby. Everybody's emotional from the huge drop in hormones. But then after that, if there's still stuff going on emotionally, is it serious, or should I call the provider, or should we go to the emergency room, or you know what I mean? And also, most folks don't know that their partners can also experience that.
Wow.
Yeah, right. A lot of people don't know that.
Wow.
So it presents differently in their behaviors, but they get postpartum as well.
Wow.
And like your body, what your body's going through after you deliver the baby, and all of those things too.
Now, when you say their partners, because that's didn't even think about that. You say their partners get affected with postpartum.
Partners can get postpartum anxiety and depression and all that stuff. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, is it because of the sense they're feeling from that mother? Are they? Is it because they feel what they feel? Wow.
So, a lot of, and we don't intend to be counselors, but sometimes we turn into that, right? So we have to coach the families when they come in and let the birthing person know that just because your partner might want to do something differently with the baby than what you would do doesn't mean they're doing it the wrong way, right? And try not to be the helicopter mom, and try not to tell the partner that, you know, oh, you're doing it wrong, let me do it, because at a certain point they're going to give up and they're going to stop trying to help. And then baby's going to get to a certain age, and then you're going to wonder why you're doing it by yourself because you didn't include that person. Also, they're used to having their partner by themselves, and all of a sudden there's this little person who demands all the attention, and so now they're feeling left out, right? And so we tell them, you know, like, yes, you know, spend time with your baby and bond and all that stuff, but also let the partner do that as well. Include the partner in the caring of the baby. And when baby gets old enough, send the baby to a babysitter so you can go and on a date with your partner, so y'all can get back to being together, right? Because you didn't make this baby by yourself, and so you still have to.
And that is so important. That needs to happen in relationships, you know, especially when you got a newborn. And, you know, I always say to people, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I always say to that mother, that new mother, and I say, your life is not about you anymore. It's about that person, that little person. Forget about Shirley. Forget about you're in charge now of that child's life, right? So but it's so important. I'm glad you mentioned about postpartum because mental health is a big deal,
Right.
especially in the Black community.
Right.
And the work that I do, I see it almost every day.
Okay.
However, when you start to notice, because you'll possibly will see the signs, right? Do, like you said, you kind of don't want to be counselors, but you try to, give them. I mean, I think we all do it. I kind of do it on my job as well.
Right.
But do you have resources for them? Do you refer them out to maybe a specific type of counselor or a therapist, or are they responsible for that piece when they want to seek for that kind of help?
So we have 2 providers that I can think of right now. One of them's name is Wilmaris, the other one is Lucelli. So they provide services for families with postpartum mood disorders. We are also going to be putting on an event, the postpartum, the Black Maternal Mental Health Summit. So we had the summit last year. This year we're doing the action planning. Okay, so what the summit was last year was a bunch of providers were getting together. We're trying to pinpoint the needs that we have in the community, that we're, the areas where we're lacking, right? And so this year it's going to be hopefully the same providers getting together and saying, okay, we have pinpointed the needs, now what do we do about it, right? We're action planning, we're trying to get those things into different things that we can put into action so that we can start making the changes that we need for the postpartum community. Yes, ma'am.
Wow, because that is such a big deal, especially for young parents. I haven't gone through it, but I read stories, about women who experience that. And so it is very important that we need to pay attention. Right. Our providers need to pay attention. Right. To these young mothers, because when we go through some hormonal changes, it's a big dip. It is a big dip.
There's also the women and infants clinic that they can go to, and that clinic is good during the day, like 9 to 5, I believe they are. But after hours, we got to figure out how we can help folks when the clinic is closed, right? Yeah.
Wow. Oh, this is good stuff to hear. So let me ask you this: what is it that you say? And you might have said this already, but I'm gonna ask you again. What do you say to that expectant mother who is uncertain about giving birth and is trying to weigh out her options for a great pregnancy and delivery as she walks into your facility? I think we kind of talked about this, but just kind of go over it again. Like, what is it that you would actually say to that expectant mother?
I feel like the more information someone gets, the less anxiety they have about it, and the better they can advocate for themselves when they go to the hospital. Yeah. Because a lot of folks don't know that they have options. They don't know which questions to ask when they get to the hospital. They don't know that they can pick their providers. They just, that's the doctor they gave me, so that's the doctor I have. Yeah. They don't know that they should be interviewing providers. They should be interviewing doulas. They should be interviewing pediatricians. You don't just have to keep the one that somebody gave you. If the provider is not in line with what you want for your family, then change providers. Wow. And so I suggest them coming to all of the classes. If it's not our classes, there's a bunch of different organizations who have childbirth classes. Get as much information as possible to prepare yourself. Hire a doula. They are covered by insurance here in Rhode Island, so there's that benefit. And just learn as much as you can.
Wow. Yeah. That is awesome. This is very awesome, y'all. This information, I mean, you couldn't get this anywhere else but from here.
We also try to have the birthing person, the partner, and the family members prepare before birth for the postpartum period, right? Who's going to be coming to your house to help you with that baby? Where are you going to be getting your food from? Who's going to be doing your laundry and dishes? You know what I mean? Like, we try to have them be proactive about those things, to have a plan in place before baby's here, because after baby's here, you're going to be sleep deprived and hungry and leaking from all over. So you're not going to want to be delegating anything at that point. So if you can have like a solid plan in place before go time, then you know that's better for everybody.
So let's talk about the events that are coming up.
Okay.
I believe you talked about the one, I believe that's coming up in July. Tell us about that one.
So we have our Black Maternal Mental Health Roundtable. It is part 2 of our summit that we had last year. It's going to be at Rhode Island College. Like I said, a bunch of providers getting together and just troubleshooting, coming up with different ideas. We pinpointed problems and gaps that we had in postpartum care last year, and this time we're action planning.
Is this open to the public?
Yes.
Oh, wow, that's great.
You think you have the card in your hand?
Yes, I
The
believe
little black card.
I left it there.
Okay.
But so yes, I definitely would like to learn more about that, you know, especially for our Black community. I also see here on August 28th.
Our lactation celebration.
Yes, tell us about that.
So that is, we are a community milk bank at UPEC as well.
Wow.
So we have, well, we're on pause right now, but we had some breast milk that we were getting from an organization in Massachusetts. So depository and dispensary of human milk. So last year we actually awarded our community milk ambassador, I think her name. Wow. I think that was the title we gave her. But this was Mama who breastfed not only her baby, but 6 other babies. She donated milk, right? Oh my God. And so she was the inspiration for our milk bank, right? She was amazing. And so, yeah, incredible. So we figured that if folks run into situations where they want to give baby breast milk, and if they're waiting for their milk to come in, or if for some reason they're having issues where they're not producing enough as they think they could come and get some milk from us.
Wow, that is awesome. I'm telling you, UPEC, you guys are doing it up over there.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh my God. So what is next for UPEC? What is going on? What is Katia? What is she doing?
We have our Easy Access Clinic. We are, Easy Access Model Care Clinic. We are taking appointments now. So what that is a gap filler. So at the beginning of pregnancy, folks have to wait about 10, 11 weeks before they can see their provider. They can come to us. We can confirm pregnancy for them. We can listen to baby's heartbeat, talk about nutrition, talk about mental health, because some people are excited about pregnancy and some people are scared out of their minds. So they come and we talk to them and go over different questions and stuff to ask the provider when they finally can get in to see them. And then after baby is born, they got to wait about 6 weeks to see the provider. They can come to us. We can weigh the baby for them. We can make sure breastfeeding is going well. We can check on their mental health postpartum. And we can also check their blood pressure, make sure there's no postpartum preeclampsia going on. And if there is, refer them to their provider sooner rather than later.
Oh my God, you guys do a lot.
We do a lot.
You do a lot,
yes,
from
ma'am.
the start to the end. And that is, and you know, it's so funny when you talk about, you know, just confirming that they are expecting, because a lot of mothers who are expecting, they must go to the store and they buy like 3 or 4 pregnancy tests. I know for me, when I found out through the emergency room that I was pregnant with my first son, I must have went to the store like twice, you know, because I wanted to make sure.
Is this 2 lines on here?
I was like, really? this actually happened? You know, so wow, that is good. Wow, UPEC is doing some great work
We're
for these
doing it.
mothers. Oh
Yes,
my
ma'am, we out here.
God. Yeah, so now I understand that they have to, of course, they have to have health insurance, of course, to go through your services.
So they can, but they don't have to. Our Easy Access Model Care Clinic is free. Right now we are trying to figure out how to bill insurance for that. Our classes are free. Our milk is kind of on the expensive side, but we do have scholarships and stuff for the black and brown mamas.
Oh, good.
Yeah. What else? We're doing all the things.
Oh, that is great.
Yes, ma'am.
So tell our viewers, how can they get in contact with you? How can they get in contact?
They can go on urbanperinatal.org, our website, and there's options for all of the different services that we provide at UPEC. They can do the 1-833-RI-DOULA to get a doula. They can call 401-229-9225. They will get me or Misty or Q or whoever is in the building at the time.
Yeah, and what's the name of your website?
Urbanperinatal.org. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, you heard it, everyone.
215 Cottage Street in Pawtucket.
215 Cottage Street in Pawtucket.
Yes.
You need some help and delivering and learning about childbirth, please go visit Urban Perinatal Education Center.
Tuesday, Friday, and Saturday are the classes.
Yes.
And Thursday is our Easy Access Model Care Clinic.
Wow.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, you know, Keesler, this was a great opportunity to talk to you today.
Yeah.
Send my regards to Katia.
Yes, ma'am.
That she allowed you to come and share what you guys are doing over there, and just helping a lot of expectant mothers and families, and just getting them ready for childbirth. So we thank you for being on my show on today and answering all the questions for the viewers.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
But again, you can also check out their website. Check them out.
Yes.
She left the number. Can you leave that number one more time for them?
Phone number is 401-229-9225. Website is urbanperinatal.org.
Thank you so much, Keesler. Thank you all so much for tuning in on Reflections TV. We will see you next month. That's right, next month, where we will bring back great TV programming. And I want you to have yourself a wonderful evening. God bless you.